Before we begin, a quick and important disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The information provided is based on my personal experience and research. You should always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions, including applying for credit cards. Your financial situation is unique, and this presentation is not a substitute for personalized advice. I remember staring at my computer screen. The flight to Hawaii was $1,247. Round trip. My finger just hovered over the confirm purchase button. It felt like a punch to the gut. I wanted that trip, I needed that trip, but the cost was just suffocating. That was 6 years ago. My last flight to Hawaii? It cost me $11.20. The 5-star resort I stayed at for 5 nights? That cost me $0. And the difference wasn't a huge pay raise or a winning lottery ticket. The difference was a simple shift in how I used a small piece of plastic in my wallet. What if I told you that the flight you're saving up for, the one you think is a year away, could be booked next month for free? What if the fancy hotel you see on Instagram could be your reality, without touching your savings account? This isn't a fantasy. It's a system. A system that airlines, hotels, and banks have created, and that millions of savvy Americans are using every single day to travel the world for pennies on the dollar. But for some reason, nobody ever teaches the rest of us how it works. It's kept behind a wall of confusing jargon, intimidating terms, and a general fear that it's all just a big scam designed to trap you in debt. Well, today we're tearing down that wall. This is the beginner's guide I wish I had when I started. No fluff, no confusing language. Just a straightforward blueprint to understanding how travel credit cards work, and how you can use them to unlock a world of travel you thought was out of reach. By the end of this video, you will understand the fundamental difference between meaningless cashback and life-changing travel points. You will know the absolute #1 golden rule of this game that you must never ever break. And you will have a clear, simple roadmap to earning your very first free flight, potentially within the next 90 days, using the money you are already spending on things like groceries, gas, and your Netflix subscription. Let's be clear about who this is for. This is for you if you pay your credit card bills on time, in full every single month. This is for you if you're tired of seeing your friends post vacation photos while you're stuck at home, thinking, how can they afford that? And this is for you if you're willing to learn a simple new system for your finances that can pay you back with thousands of dollars in free travel every single year. If you're someone who carries a balance on your credit cards, this game is not for you, at least not yet. The interest you'd pay would wipe out any rewards you'd earn, and then some. The goal here is to beat the banks at their own game, not to pay them more. So, Rule 0 before we even get to Rule 1, is get to a place where you can pay your statement balance in full every time. Now, for everyone else, let's get into the core concept. This is the most important mindset shift you need to make. The world of travel rewards is not about spending more money. Let me repeat that. It is not about spending more money. It is about being strategic with the money you are already spending. Every single time you pay for something with cash, or a debit card, or a basic no-reward credit card, you are throwing away a valuable asset. Think of it this way, every dollar you spend has the potential to also be a tiny building block. A building block that can be stacked up to create a free flight, a hotel stay, or an upgrade to first class. When you use a debit card, that dollar is just a dollar. It's gone. But when you use the right travel card, that dollar buys your groceries, and it also buys you a fraction of a mile, a fraction of a point. A tiny piece of your next vacation. You buy $100 worth of groceries with your debit card. You get $100 worth of groceries. End of story. I buy $100 worth of groceries with my travel card that earns extra points at supermarkets. I get $100 worth of groceries, plus enough points for a free checked bag on my next trip. You pay your $1,000 rent with a check. You get a place to live for a month. I pay my rent through a service that lets me use a credit card. I get a place to live for a month, plus a significant chunk of the points I need for a flight to Miami. Same expenses. Wildly different outcomes. This is the game. It's about channeling your existing everyday spending, from your morning coffee to your car insurance, through a tool that gives you something back. Something far more valuable than the 1 or 2% cash back most people are used to. Now, you've probably heard the terms: points, miles, sign-up bonuses, transfer partners. It sounds like a foreign language designed to be confusing, but it's actually incredibly simple once you understand the 3 basic components. First, you have the sign-up bonus. This is the holy grail. It's the single fastest way to rack up a massive amount of points. Banks are desperate for your business, so they offer huge incentives to get you to open a new card. They'll say, spend $3,000 on this card in your first 3 months, and we will give you 60,000 bonus points. For most people, spending $1,000 a month on regular life expenses is completely normal. So you put your gas, your groceries, your bills on that card for 3 months, you hit the target, and bam! 60,000 points land in your account. Do you know what 60,000 points can get you? That could be a round-trip ticket to Europe, or 2 round-trip tickets to anywhere in the United States. All from a bonus just for channeling your normal spending. Second, you have ongoing spending. After you get the bonus, every dollar you spend on the card continues to earn you points. Usually, it's 1 point per dollar. But the best cards give you bonus points in specific categories. Maybe it's 3 points for every dollar you spend on dining, or 5 points for every dollar you spend on flights booked directly with an airline. The strategy is to match the card to your biggest spending categories to maximize the points you earn passively, month after month. And third, you have the perks. This is the icing on the cake. Things like free check bags for you and a companion, which can save you $140 on a single round-trip flight. Access to fancy airport lounges with free food and drinks. Credits that pay for your TSA pre-check or global entry application. Hotel status that gets you room upgrades. These perks alone can often be worth more than the card's annual fee. So you combine a massive sign-up bonus with optimized daily spending and valuable perks. You do this for a year, and you suddenly find yourself sitting on a treasure chest of over 100,000 points. You've spent the same money you would have spent anyway, but now you have the currency to book flights and hotels that would have cost you thousands of dollars in cash. This is not a trick. It is a value exchange. The banks make a small percentage from the merchant every time you swipe your card. In return for you using their card, they give you a piece of that action back in the form of points. The airlines and hotels sell their points to the banks in bulk, which fills up airplane seats and hotel rooms that might have otherwise gone empty. Everybody wins. But the biggest winner is you, if you know the rules of the game. And the first, most important rule, the one that governs this entire world and separates people who get incredible value from those who get into trouble, is what we need to break down right now. It's a simple principle, but it is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Understanding it is the key to unlocking this entire system. And that principle is this: the entire travel reward system, all the free flights, the fancy hotel rooms, the airport lounge access, it's all a giant, fantastically profitable business for the banks. And this business is funded primarily by 2 groups of people. First, people who pay interest and fees. And second, by every single merchant you shop at. Your goal, the only way to win this game, is to get all the rewards without being in that first group. Ever. Let's talk about that first group, because this is the single most important lesson in this entire series. This is the danger zone. When you don't pay your credit card bill in full by the due date, you start to accrue interest. We've all seen the numbers on our statements. 19%, 24%, sometimes close to 30% APR. That stands for annual percentage rate. Sounds abstract, but let's make it real. Imagine you buy a new laptop for $1,000. You put it on your new travel card because you want the sign-up bonus points. Great. The bill comes and maybe things are a little tight that month. You look at the statement and it says minimum payment due, $25. You think, okay, I can do that. So you pay the $25. Here's what happens next. The bank takes that $1,000 you owe, and they start charging you interest on the remaining $975. Let's say your card has a 24% APR. That's 2% per month. So next month, they add about $19.50 in interest charges to your bill. Now you owe $994.50. You've paid $25, but your debt only went down by $5.50. The other $19.50? It just vanished. It went straight into the bank's pocket. You can see how this becomes a trap. You keep making minimum payments and the interest keeps piling up. That $1,000 laptop could end up costing you $1,500 or even $2,000 over time. The interest you pay completely wipes out the value of any points or miles you earned. In fact, it's not even close. You are losing. Badly. The people who carry a balance from month to month are called revolvers in the industry. They are, and I say this without judgment because it's a mathematical fact, funding the entire rewards ecosystem. The billions of dollars banks collect in interest payments from revolvers is a huge part of the pot of money they use to pay for my first-class ticket and your future free vacation. So, this brings us to the first commandment of travel rewards, the unbreakable rule. You must, without fail, pay your statement balance in full every single month. Not the minimum payment, the statement balance. If you do this, you will never pay a single penny in interest. You effectively get a zero-interest loan for about 30 to 45 days, and then you collect rewards on top of it. If you cannot commit to this 100%, then this game is not for you. And that's okay. It is far better to use a debit card and pay no interest than to chase points and end up in a spiral of debt. This is the barrier to entry. Get this right and you're ready to play. Get it wrong and you become the person paying for everyone else's trip. Okay, so that's interest. The other part of that first group is fee payers. This is mainly the annual fee. You'll see cards with annual fees from $95 all the way up to nearly $700. And your first instinct is probably, why on earth would I pay a bank for the privilege of using their credit card? It's a fair question. The answer is that you're not paying a fee, you're making an investment. A high annual fee card should give you benefits that are worth far more than the fee itself. Things like automatic hotel status, hundreds of dollars in travel credits, free lounge access, and free hotel nights. If you use those benefits, a $550 fee can easily give you over $1,000 in value. If you don't use them, then yes, you're just giving the bank free money. We'll break down exactly how to calculate this value later on, but for now, just know that annual fees are only a cost if you don't get a positive return. Now, let's talk about the second group funding this whole system. The hidden engine that most people never even think about, the merchants. Every single time you tap your card at a coffee shop, swipe it at the grocery store, or type it into Amazon, the store you're buying from has to pay a fee. It's called an interchange fee or a swipe fee. This fee is usually somewhere between 1.5% to 3% of your total purchase. That money doesn't go to you. It gets split between the credit card network like Visa or MasterCard, and more importantly, the bank that issued your card like Chase or American Express. Think about it. You spend $100 at Target. Target doesn't actually get to keep all $100. They might only get $97.50. The other $2.50 goes back to the banks. Now, multiply that by millions of people and trillions of dollars in transactions every year. It is a staggering amount of money. Why would stores agree to this? Because they have to. We live in a world of plastic and digital payments. If a store said, "Sorry, we don't take credit cards," they'd lose a massive amount of business. People spend more when they can use a card. So, for the store, that 2 to 3% fee is just the cost of doing business. And here is the crucial insight. Stores don't just eat that cost. They build it into their prices. The price of that gallon of milk, that t-shirt, that tank of gas. It's all slightly inflated to account for the credit card swipe fees they know they'll have to pay. This means that whether you pay with a rewards credit card, a debit card, or cash, you are paying the same price. You are paying the inflated price that already has the credit card fee baked in. So, if you use cash or a debit card, you are effectively paying that fee but getting absolutely nothing in return. You are subsidizing my trip to Hawaii. When you use a high-powered travel rewards card, you are finally claiming your slice of that fee back. You're simply redirecting a tiny piece of the money that was already being moved around, from the merchant to the bank, and putting it into your own pocket in the form of points and miles. So let's put it all together. The bank has this massive river of revenue flowing in. It's coming from the interest payments of people who carry a balance. It's coming from annual fees. And it's coming from the slice they take from every single transaction at every single store. What do they do with all this money? They use a portion of it as a marketing expense. They create these incredible rewards programs, points, miles, sign-up bonuses, as a giant incentive to get you to choose their card over a competitor's and to use it for all of your spending. They are dangling a carrot. They are taking a small piece of their gigantic profit pie and offering it back to you. Your job is to be what the industry calls a transactor. A transactor is someone who uses their card for everything to rack up points, but pays the bill in full every month, never paying interest. You are transacting business, not revolving debt. You become a disciplined, strategic player who gets the maximum rewards while giving the bank the absolute minimum in return. Ideally, just an annual fee that you get even more value back from. You're playing their game, but you're playing by a different set of rules. Your rules. You understand the business model. You avoid the traps they set for the uninformed, and you capitalize on the incentives they offer to everyone. You're no longer just a consumer. You're an active participant in the system, making it work for you, not against you. This is the fundamental mindset shift. You are not borrowing money. You are using a payment tool strategically to earn valuable rewards. So now we know how the system is funded. We know where the points and miles actually come from. But a point isn't just a point. A Chase Ultimate Reward point is not the same as a Delta SkyMile, which is not the same as a Marriott Bonvoy point. They are like different currencies, each with their own fluctuating exchange rate. Understanding the difference between them, and knowing which ones are gold and which ones are gravel, is the next critical step. Because how we turn these digital points into a real-world, lie-flat seat on a plane to Paris requires understanding the two fundamental types of rewards, and one is dramatically more powerful than the other. These two types of rewards are best thought of as gift cards versus cash. Let's start with the gift cards. This is the world of fixed value points. When you earn points with certain credit cards, the bank gives you a very simple, straightforward way to use them. They have their own travel website, what we call a travel portal, and it looks just like Expedia or Kayak. You can search for flights, hotels, rental cars, anything you want. When you find what you're looking for, you can pay for it with your points instead of your money. The value of your points is fixed. Typically, 1 point is worth 1 cent. So 100,000 points is worth exactly $1,000 towards travel booked through their site. It's clean. It's simple. It's a gift card to the bank's own travel store. And for many people, this is fantastic. Why? Because it's incredibly easy. There are no blackout dates. There's no searching for special award availability. If you can find a seat for sale with cash on that website, you can book it with your points. If a last-minute flight home for Thanksgiving costs $500, you can book it for 50,000 points. Done. You don't have to learn anything about airline alliances or loyalty programs. You just earn, go to the portal and burn. This simplicity is its greatest strength, but it is also its greatest weakness. Because you are forever tied to the cash price of that ticket. You are a price taker. If that business class flight to Paris that you've been dreaming of costs $6,000, then you will need 600,000 points to book it through the portal. End of story. There is no secret trick, no clever hack to get a better deal. You are simply trading your points for cash at a fixed rate, like using a gift card at the company store where the prices are set in stone. Now, some premium cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve will give you a little boost. They might make your points worth 1.5 cents each inside their portal. So that $6,000 flight would now cost you 400,000 points instead of 600,000. That's definitely better. A nice little coupon for shopping at their store. But you're still fundamentally playing the same game. You are still tethered to that $6,000 price tag. You've gotten a discount, but you haven't changed the laws of physics. This is the safe, paved road. It's predictable, it's smooth, and it will get you there. But the views are limited. Now let's talk about the other path. The gravel road. This is the world of transferable points. This is the cash in our analogy. For major banks in the United States offer these types of points. Chase with their Ultimate Rewards, American Express with their membership rewards, Capital One with their miles, and Citi with their thank you points. On the surface, they look the same as the fixed value points. You can still take them to the bank's travel portal and use them like a gift card, getting that same 1 or 1.5 cents per point in value. You always have that option. But these points have a superpower. They have a secret escape hatch. You have the option to not use them in the bank store, but instead, transfer them out of the bank and directly into the loyalty program of a partner airline or hotel. This is where everything changes. Think about it. When you have cash, you're not forced to shop at one store. You can go to Target, you can go to Walmart, you can go to a fancy boutique. You can shop around for the best deal. Transferable points give you this same power. Your Chase points aren't just Chase points. They can become United Airlines miles. They can become Southwest Rapid Rewards points. They can become World of Hyatt Hotel points. Your Amex points can become Delta Sky miles, or Air France miles or Hilton Honors points. You are no longer holding a gift card. You are holding a universal currency that you can exchange and spend where it has the most value. And why is this so powerful? Because airlines and hotels do not sell their award nights and award flights based on the cash price. They have a completely separate economy. They use something called an award chart. An award chart says that a flight from, for example, the US to Europe in business class costs a fixed number of miles, let's say 60,000 miles regardless of the cash price. Let that sink in. The cash price could be $2,000. Or for a last-minute booking, it could be $8,000. It doesn't matter. If the airline has an award seat available, the price in their loyalty currency is 60,000 miles. This creates an opportunity for what is called arbitrage. You can use your points to exploit the massive difference between the cash price and the points price. Let's go back to our $6,000 business class flight to Paris. With the gift card method, using fixed value points, best case scenario with a premium card, it costs you 400,000 points. A huge number. But with the cash method, using transferable points, you start looking for deals. You discover that one of your credit card's airline partners, let's say Air France, has a partnership with your bank. You log into the Air France website and search for that exact same flight on the exact same day. And you find it. You find an award seat available for 70,000 Air France miles plus $200 in taxes. So what do? You go to your bank's website, Chase, Amex, whatever it is, and you click Transfer Points. You type in Air France and 70,000. You hit Submit. Within minutes, sometimes instantly, those 70,000 points vanish from your bank account and reappear as 70,000 miles in your Air France account. You then book that flight directly with the airline. You are now holding a ticket for the exact same lie-flat seat, on the exact same plane, as the person who paid $6,000 in cash. Let's compare. The fixed value, gift card route, 400,000 points. The transferable, cash route, 70,000 points. You just saved 330,000 points. That is not a small difference. That is a fundamentally different game. The person who only uses the travel portal got a value of 1.5 cents for each of their points. You? Let's do the math. The flight was worth $6,000. You paid $200 in cash, so you got $5,800 in value from your points. Divide that by the 70,000 points you used. You got a value of over 8 cents per point. That is the power. That is the secret. That is why people get so obsessed with this hobby. It's the ability to unlock value that is completely disconnected from the retail cash price. It's turning your everyday spending into a currency that can buy luxury experiences for pennies on the dollar. This is the gravel road. It requires more work. You have to learn which airlines are partners with your bank. You have to learn how to search for award availability on airline websites. It's not as simple as just clicking book on a portal. There are more bumps, more twists and turns. But the destination is exponentially more rewarding. So you have two paths. The paved road of fixed value points. Simple, predictable, but capped in value. Or the gravel road of transferable points. More complex, requires some learning, but offers almost limitless potential for outsized value. Neither path is inherently wrong. If your goal is to just wipe out the cost of a few domestic flights a year with zero hassle, the paved road is a perfectly fine choice. But if you have dreams of flying in the front of the plane, of staying in 5-star Park Hyatts in Tokyo, of truly transforming the way you travel, then you have to be willing to get a little dust on your tires. You have to learn to drive on gravel. And the first step in learning to drive is choosing your vehicle. In the world of travel rewards, that means choosing your team. Are you going to be on Team Chase? Team MX? Team Capital One? Each of these teams has a different set of airline and hotel partners, different strengths and different weaknesses. And picking the right one for you, based on where you live and where you want to go, is the single most important decision you will make at the beginning of your journey. And that decision is choosing your team, your home base, your points ecosystem. Think of it like picking a faction in a video game or a house in Harry Potter. Each one has its own unique currency, its own allies, and its own special powers. Committing to one ecosystem, at least at first, is how you pool your points together and unlock those truly mind-blowing redemptions we talked about. If you spread yourself too thin across multiple systems, you'll end up with a bunch of small, useless piles of points instead of one giant mountain of travel potential. So, who are the major players in this game? In the world of transferable points, there are 4 titans for kingdoms that you need to know about. They are Chase Ultimate Rewards, American Express Membership Rewards, Capital One Miles, and Citi Thank You Points. Let's break them down one by one so you can figure out which flag you want to fly. First up, the one most beginners should start with, Chase Ultimate Rewards. If the points world were a high school cafeteria, Chase would be the friendly, popular, all-around quarterback. It's approachable, powerful, and excels at the fundamentals. The currency here is Ultimate Rewards points, or UR points for short. Their biggest strength, and the reason they're so beginner-friendly, is their list of transfer partners. They have an incredible trifecta of partners that are perfect for the average American traveler. They have 2 major domestic airlines, United and Southwest, and they have the undisputed champion of hotel points, Hyatt. Just having World of Hyatt as a partner is Chase's superpower. While most hotel points are worth less than a penny each, Hyatt points can easily be redeemed for 2, 3, or even 4 cents per point, especially at their high-end Park Hyatt or all-inclusive Ziva and Zilara resorts. This means you can transfer your Chase points one-to-one to Hyatt and book $500 a night hotel rooms for just 20,000 points. It's an incredible value that no other ecosystem can consistently match. On top of that, Chase has a very simple and valuable backup plan. If you can't find a good transfer, you can use your points directly through the Chase travel portal to book flights, hotels, or rental cars. And when you do, depending on which card you have, your points get a 25% or even a 50% bonus. So your 10,000 points are instantly worth 12,500 or 15,000. It's a fantastic safety net. Now the catch. Chase has a very famous, very strict rule known as the 524 rule. It means if you have opened 5 or more new credit cards, from any bank, not just Chase, in the last 24 months, Chase will automatically deny you for most of their best cards. This is why we almost always recommend starting your journey with Chase. You want to get their cards while you're still under May 24th. If you start with other banks, you can get locked out of the Chase ecosystem for years. So who is Chase for? It's for the beginner who wants a straightforward system with amazing value for domestic travel and hotels. If you live near a United hub or fly Southwest often, and you dream of luxury hotel stays with Hyatt, Chase is your starting point. No question. Next, let's talk about the sophisticated, world-traveling older sibling. American Express membership rewards. If Chase is the quarterback, Amex is the ambassador's kid who studied abroad and speaks 3 languages. Their focus is overwhelmingly on premium international travel. The currency is membership rewards points, or MR points. Amex's partner list is massive. It's the longest of the 4, and it's packed with premium international airlines. We're talking Singapore Airlines, ANA, Cathay Pacific, Emirates, Etihad. If your goal is to fly in those fancy lie-flat business or first-class seats to Europe or Asia, Amex is almost certainly your ticket. Their other superpower is transfer bonuses. Several times a year, Amex will offer a bonus, maybe 15%, 25%, even 40%, when you transfer your points to a specific airline partner. So, a flight that costs 100,000 miles might only require you to transfer 75,000 of your Amex points during a bonus period. This is how advanced players squeeze absolutely insane value out of their points. The downside? Amex is not as strong for domestic travel. They don't partner with United or Southwest. While they do partner with Delta, the value isn't always great. And their hotel partners, Hilton and Marriott, are generally terrible transfer options. You're almost always better off just paying cash than transferring your valuable Amex points to those hotels. Amex cards also carry notoriously high annual fees. Their flagship Platinum card, for example, comes with a fee that can feel like a car payment. Now it's loaded with credits and perks like extensive airport lounge access that can easily justify the fee for a frequent traveler. But it can be intimidating for a beginner. So who is Amex for? It's for the aspiring globetrotter, the person whose main goal is flying international business class. If you value airport lounge access, can take advantage of various travel and shopping credits, and aren't afraid of a high annual fee, the Amex ecosystem is your gateway to the world. Third, we have the new school tech disruptor, Capital One Miles. If Chase is the quarterback and Amex is the diplomat, Capital One is the minimalist tech founder who wears the same gray t-shirt every day because it's efficient. Their philosophy is simplicity and power. For years, Capital One was just a cashback company, but recently, they've transformed their miles into a seriously competitive transferable currency. Their core strength is how you earn them. With cards like the Venture and Venture X, you earn a flat 2 miles on every single dollar you spend. No bonus categories to track, no complicated rules. Just a simple, powerful earning machine. This makes Capital One a fantastic catch-all system. You use other cards for their bonus categories like 3x on dining, but for every other purchase, from your car insurance to your kids' daycare, you use your Capital One card to get a guaranteed 2x back. Their redemption side is also beautifully simple. Like Chase, they have a growing list of airline and hotel transfer partners. It's not as robust as Chase or Amex yet, but it's getting better every year, with some great international options. But their killer feature is the Purchase Eraser. This lets you book travel however you want on Expedia, directly with an airline anywhere, and then use your miles to erase the charge from your statement at a value of 1 cent per mile. This provides ultimate flexibility. You're not tied to a portal or a partner. If you see a cheap flight, you buy it and then wipe it off your bill with miles. The weakness? While their partner list is improving, it still lacks a true star hotel partner like Hyatt, and it doesn't have a major US airline like United. Maximizing value through transfers can require a bit more work than with Chase. So, who is Capital One for? It's for the person who values simplicity and flexibility above all else. If you hate tracking bonus categories and want a straightforward way to earn and redeem for any travel expense, while still having the option to transfer to partners for higher value, Capital One is an incredible choice. Finally, let's talk about the dark horse, the specialist, Citi Thank You Points. If the others are major players, Citi is the savvy hedge fund manager who finds undervalued assets nobody else is looking at. Citi's Thank You Points, or TYP, have a more niche set of transfer partners, but within that list are some absolute gems you can't find anywhere else. They have partners like Turkish Airlines, which has a ridiculously cheap award chart for flying on their partner United to places like Hawaii. They have partners like Avianca LifeMiles for great deals on Star Alliance flights. It's a system that rewards people who are willing to do a little homework. The earning structure on their cards, like the Citi Premier, is also very strong, often offering broad bonus categories that cover a lot of everyday spending. So what's the catch? The Citi ecosystem just feels a bit less cohesive. Their website can be clunkier, their customer service is not as renowned as Amex or Chase, and they lack a standout domestic or hotel partner that makes them an easy choice for beginners. They lost American Airlines as a full-time partner years ago, which was a huge blow. Who is Citi for? It's typically not for the first-timer. Citi is for the second or third-year player, the person who already has a base with Chase or Amex, and is looking to add a new tool to their belt to unlock specific, high-value redemptions that their primary system can't access. It's a fantastic complementary system, but a tougher place to start. So let's recap. 4 kingdoms for different paths. Choose Chase if you're a beginner focused on US travel and amazing hotel stays. Choose American Express if your dream is international business class and you love airport lounge perks. Choose Capital One if you crave simplicity, powerful flat rate earning, and a flexible way to erase any travel purchase. And consider Citi once you've got your feet wet and are ready to become a specialist. Your travel goals will dictate your choice. And once you've picked your kingdom, the next step is to choose your weapon, the specific credit card that will open the gates. Let's be clear. Walking into this arsenal of credit cards can be overwhelming. You see shiny pieces of metal promising free flights and luxurious lounges, but you also see price tags, annual fees, that make you want to run for the hills. So before you grab the biggest, flashiest sword off the rack, let's understand the different classes of weapons available. Think of it like a video game. You don't start with the legendary final boss weapon. You start with a solid, reliable blade, learn how to use it, and level up from there. Travel credit cards generally fall into 3 tiers: the gateway, the workhorse, and the luxury key. Let's start with Tier 1, the gateway cards. These are your no annual fee options. For many people, this feels like the safest place to start, and for good reason. You're not paying a dime to keep the card in your wallet. These cards are fantastic for building your credit history and dipping your toes into the world of points and miles without any financial commitment. Cards like the Chase Freedom Unlimited or the Capital One Saver One Rewards fit into this category. They often offer decent rewards on everyday spending, like 1.5% cash back on everything or 3% on dining and groceries. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. While they're called travel cards, their power is severely limited on their own. The points you earn on most of these no-fee cards are often stuck as simple cash back, valued at 1 cent per point. You can't transfer them to airlines or hotels for those high-value redemptions we've been talking about. Think of it this way: you're collecting iron ore. It has value, but you can't build a castle with it. You need a blacksmith, a more powerful card, to forge that ore into something truly spectacular. The sign-up bonuses on these cards are also usually small, maybe $200 after you spend $500. It's a nice little perk, but it's not going to fly you to Paris. So while a no annual fee card is a risk-free way to start earning, it's not the weapon that will win you the travel game. It's the training sword. Now let's move to Tier 2, the workhorse cards. This is where the magic truly begins. These are the cards with annual fees typically in the range of $95. And I know what you're thinking. Why would I pay $95 a year for a credit card when I can get one for free? This is the single most important mental hurdle you need to overcome. The annual fee is not a cost. It's an investment. It's the price of admission to the big leagues. What does that $95 get you? First, a massive sign-up bonus. We're not talking $200 anymore. We're talking 60,000, 75,000, sometimes even 100,000 points. Let's take a common example. A 60,000 point sign-up bonus. Even at the most basic redemption level of 1 cent per point, that's $600 in value. You pay a $95 fee, and you get $600 back. You are already ahead by over $500 in the very first year. You've essentially paid $95 for a round-trip ticket to somewhere in the US, or heavily subsidized a flight to Europe. The annual fee pays for itself many times over, right from day one. But it gets better. This is where the blacksmith comes in. These workhorse cards, like the legendary Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Capital One Venture card, unlock the ability to transfer your points. Suddenly, that iron ore you were collecting can be forged into airline miles with United or Hyatt hotel points. That 60,000 point bonus isn't just worth $600 anymore. Transferred wisely, it could be worth $900, $1,200, or even $2,000 in real travel. This is the core concept. The $95 fee is the key that unlocks this massive value. These cards also come with better earning rates on travel and dining, travel protections like rental car insurance and trip delay reimbursement, and other perks that provide both value and peace of mind. For 90% of people starting out, a Tier 2 workhorse card is the perfect weapon. It's powerful, versatile, and the value it provides demolishes its annual fee. Finally, we arrive at Tier 3, the luxury keys. These are the heavy hitters, the premium cards with annual fees that can make your eyes water. Think $550, even close to $700 a year. Cards like the American Express Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve live here. Your first instinct might be to dismiss them as something only for the super rich. And for a beginner, you're right, you should not start here. But you absolutely need to understand how they work, because one day you might level up to one. These cards are less like credit cards and more like sophisticated coupon books. The high annual fee is almost immediately offset by a long list of statement credits. For example, a card might have a $695 fee, but it will give you a $200 airline incidental credit, a $200 Uber credit, a $100 Saks Fifth Avenue credit, and a $240 digital entertainment credit. If you are already spending money on these things, the credits effectively reduce your annual fee to near zero. You're just prepaying for services you already use through the card's annual fee. The main draw beyond the credits is the premium perks. The biggest one is airport lounge access. These cards are your golden ticket into serene, comfortable lounges around the world, with free food, drinks, and Wi-Fi, away from the chaos of the main terminal. Once you experience it, it's hard to go back. They also offer things like elite status with hotel chains and rental car companies, and even better travel insurance. The catch is, if you don't use the credits and you don't travel enough to benefit from the lounges, you are just throwing money away. These cards are for frequent travelers and big spenders who can maximize every single perk. They are the specialized weapons for the seasoned veteran, not the beginner. So let's recap the arsenal. Tier 1 gateway cards are free, safe, and a good way to practice, but they won't get you very far on their own. Tier 2 workhorse cards, with their modest $95-ish fee, are the sweet spot. They provide enormous value through sign-up bonuses and unlock the all-important ability to transfer points to airlines and hotels. This is your starting point. And Tier 3 luxury keys are powerful tools for a specific type of traveler, where a high fee is justified by a mountain of credits and premium perks. Understanding these tiers is crucial. It changes your perspective on the annual fee from a liability to a strategic investment in your travel dreams. You're not losing $95. You're buying a key that unlocks a treasure chest worth over $1,000. Now that you understand the different classes of weapons, the next logical question is, which one? Out of all the workhorse cards available, which specific one should you, as a beginner, choose to start your journey? Picking the right first card is the most critical decision you'll make. It sets the foundation for your entire strategy. And the answer for the vast majority of people starting out in the United States is surprisingly clear. While there are hundreds of cards, there are only 3 major travel point ecosystems that truly matter for beginners: Chase Ultimate Rewards, American Express Membership Rewards, and Capital One Miles. Think of them as the 3 great kingdoms of the travel world. Each has its strengths, its allies, and its treasures. And while you can, and eventually will, hold citizenship in more than one, you must choose where to build your first castle. For over a decade, the consensus among experts has been an almost unanimous recommendation: start with Chase. This isn't just a matter of opinion. It's a matter of strategy. dictated by one of the most important, unwritten rules in this entire game. The 5/24 rule. This rule is your first secret handshake, your entry into the inner circle. Here's what it means in plain English. Chase will automatically deny you for most of their credit cards if you have opened 5 or more new personal credit cards, from any bank, not just Chase, in the last 24 months. Let me repeat that because it is the single most important rule for a beginner to understand. If you open 5 other credit cards first, whether it's a store card from Target or a gas card from Shell, Chase will lock its doors to you for its best travel cards. You'll be shut out of the most valuable ecosystem right as you're trying to get in. This is why your starting move is so critical. You have to start with Chase while the door is still open. You can go get American Express or Capital One cards later. They don't have a strict rule like this. But if you don't start with Chase, you may never get the chance. So we've established our kingdom, Chase Ultimate Rewards. Now, which specific key unlocks the gate? The answer is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This isn't just a good starter card. It is, without a doubt, the single best travel credit card for a beginner on the market today. It's the Swiss Army knife of travel rewards. It's not the absolute best at any one thing, but it is exceptionally good at everything a beginner needs, and it does it all for a very reasonable price. Let's break down exactly why this card is your perfect first step. First, and most importantly, the sign-up bonus. As of right now, the standard public offer is 60,000 Ultimate Rewards points after you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. Now, 60,000 points might sound like some abstract, made-up number. It's not. Let's translate it into real dollars. At a bare minimum, those 60,000 points can be redeemed for cash back at 1 cent per point. That means the bonus is worth at least $600. You spend $4,000, you get $600 back. That's a 15% return on your spending right there. Already, that's fantastic. But we're not in this for cash back. We're in it for travel. When you use your points to book flights, hotels, or rental cars through the Chase Travel Portal, they give you a 25% bonus. So your 60,000 points are suddenly worth $750. That's a free round-trip flight to Europe. That's a few nights at a very nice hotel. That's the power of the portal. But the real magic, the reason this card is the golden key, is its ability to transfer points to airline and hotel partners. This is where you unlock the truly mind-blowing value. That same 60,000 point bonus can be transferred to partners like United Airlines, Southwest, or my personal favorite, World of Hyatt. Let me give you a concrete example. The Park Hyatt in Vienna, Austria, is a world-class 5-star hotel. A standard room there can easily cost over $1,000 a night. You could pay that, or you could transfer just 25,000 Chase points to your Hyatt account and book that exact same room for free. Your 60,000 point sign-up bonus is enough for 2 free nights in a hotel that would have cost you over $2,000. Suddenly, your points aren't worth 1 cent each, or 1.25 cents each. They're worth 4, 5, even 6 cents apiece. You've transformed a $600 bonus into a $2,000 luxury vacation. This is the cheat code. This is the entire point of the game. And the Chase Sapphire Preferred gives you access to it. Beyond the massive bonus, the card is a workhorse for your daily spending. You earn 3 points per dollar on all dining, which includes restaurants, takeout, and even mini bars. You earn 3 points per dollar on online grocery purchases. 3 points per dollar on select streaming services like Netflix and Spotify. You earn 2 points per dollar on all other travel purchases, from flights and hotels to Ubers and subway tickets. And you earn 1 point per dollar on everything else. It's a simple, powerful earning structure that rewards you for the things you already buy every day. So what's the catch? The card has a $95 annual fee. And this is where many beginners get scared and run for a no-fee card. But that is thinking like an amateur. You have to think like a pro. A pro doesn't look at the fee as a cost. They look at it as an investment. And they ask a simple question. Do the benefits I receive outweigh the fee I pay? With the Sapphire Preferred, the answer is a resounding yes. Let's do the math for year 1. You get a sign-up bonus worth a minimum of $750 towards travel. You subtract the $95 annual fee. You are still walking away with a profit of $655. It's not a cost, it's a massive net gain. But what about year 2 and beyond? The card comes with a $50 annual hotel credit. If you book a hotel through the Chase portal, they will automatically credit you back the first $50. If you travel even once a year and stay in a hotel, this is as good as cash. That effectively reduces your annual fee from $95 down to just $45. On top of that, you get a suite of travel protections that can save you thousands of dollars. The most valuable of these is primary rental car insurance. If you rent a car and pay with your Sapphire Preferred, you can decline the expensive insurance the rental agency tries to sell you. If you get into an accident, Chase's insurance kicks in first, before your personal auto insurance. This single benefit can save you $15 to $25 per day on a rental car. Rent a car for just 1 week a year, and the card has more than paid for itself on that benefit alone. You also get trip cancellation and interruption insurance. If you get sick or a family emergency forces you to cancel a non-refundable trip, you can be reimbursed up to $10,000. If your baggage is delayed for more than 6 hours, they'll reimburse you for essential purchases like toiletries and clothing. These aren't just minor perks. They are powerful insurance policies that provide incredible peace of mind when you travel. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is the perfect package. It has a huge attainable sign-up bonus with immense value. It has strong earning categories for everyday spending. It unlocks the single most valuable use of points, transferring to airline and hotel partners. And its suite of benefits easily justifies the modest annual fee, turning it from a cost into a profitable investment. It teaches you all the fundamental skills you need to succeed in this hobby, all within one powerful, easy-to-understand card. It is the perfect foundation upon which you will build your entire travel rewards empire. So you've chosen your champion. The path is clear, but knowing which card to get is only half the battle. How do you actually get it in your wallet? And more importantly, how do you make sure you secure that massive welcome bonus without changing your spending habits or going into debt? Let's break down that process because this is where the game is truly won or lost. It's a two-stage mission. Stage 1, getting approved for the card. Stage 2, hitting that welcome bonus. Both are way less intimidating than they sound, and neither requires you to spend a single dollar you weren't already planning to spend. First, the application. Before you even think about clicking that Apply Now button, you need to do one thing: check your credit score. Applying for a credit card results in what's called a hard inquiry on your credit report, which can temporarily dip your score by a few points. You don't want to take that hit just to get an instant denial. So be strategic. Use a free service like Credit Karma, or check the app for your existing bank. Most major banks now offer free credit score monitoring. For the kind of premium travel cards we've been talking about, you generally want to see a score of 700 or higher. Ideally, 720 and above puts you in a very strong position. If you're not there yet, don't worry. Your mission is clear. Spend a few months paying your bills on time, every time, and keeping your credit card balances low. That's it. That's the magic formula. Okay, so your score is looking good. You go to the bank's website, you click Apply. The form itself is straightforward. Name, address, social security number, the usual stuff. But then you get to one box that gives everyone anxiety: annual income. People freeze up. Do I put my exact salary? What if I have a side hustle? What if my spouse makes more than me? Relax. For most issuers, you can list your total household income that you have reasonable access to. This can include your personal salary, plus income from a spouse or partner, and sometimes even things like retirement distributions or trust fund income if you have access to it. Be honest, but understand what they're asking. They aren't being nosy. They're just trying to calculate your ability to pay back debt. You fill it all out, take a deep breath, and click Submit. In a perfect world, you get a screen full of digital confetti and an instant congratulations, you're approved. But sometimes you get a different message. Something like, your application is under review, or even an outright denial. This is not the end of the road. In fact, this is where the pros separate themselves from the beginners. If you don't get instantly approved, your next move is to call the bank's reconsideration line. Just Google the name of the Bank Plus reconsideration line, and you'll find the number. This is your chance to plead your case to a human being. Be polite, be friendly. Explain why you want this specific card. Don't say, I just want the points. Talk about the benefits. Say something like, I'm really excited about the Chase Sapphire Preferred because my family travels a lot on United, and I know you're a transfer partner. I've been a loyal Chase customer for 5 years, and was hoping to build a stronger relationship. You'd be shocked at how often a polite, well-reasoned phone call can turn a denial or a pending application into an approval. They might just need to verify some information or move some credit around from another card you have with them. Don't be afraid to make the call. Now for the fun part. You're approved. The card is on its way. This brings us to stage 2, hitting the minimum spend requirement to unlock that giant welcome bonus. Let's say the offer is 60,000 points after you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. That $4,000 can sound like a mountain, but it's not. The golden rule, and I want you to burn this into your brain, is this: you are not spending more money, you are simply changing how you spend your existing money. The first critical thing to know is that the clock starts ticking from the moment you are approved, not from the day the card arrives in the mail. So that 3-month window is already open. When the card arrives, activate it immediately and make it your default payment method for everything. Literally everything. Think about your life for a second. Where does your money already go every single month? Let's make a list. Your groceries. That's probably hundreds of dollars a month right there. Your gas. Your cell phone bill. Your internet and cable bill. Your streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, all of them. Your car insurance. Your renter's or homeowner's insurance. These are often big, chunky payments you can make every 6 months. Every time you eat out, get coffee, or order a pizza. Add all that up. For most people, that regular, predictable, non-negotiable monthly spending already gets them a huge portion of the way to that $4,000 target over 3 months. You're not buying extra stuff. You're just funneling the spending you were already doing anyway through this new piece of plastic. But what if that's still not enough? What if you run the numbers and you're going to be a little short? This is where we get into the simple next-level strategies. Strategy 1 is timing. The absolute best time to apply for a new card is right before you know you have a large planned expense coming up. Do you need to buy new tires for your car? Is your laptop on its last legs? Are you about to book flights for a family wedding or a summer vacation? Are the holidays right around the corner? These are perfect opportunities. You were going to spend that money anyway. By timing your application right, you make that $1,000 purchase do double duty. You get the thing you needed, and you knock out a huge chunk of your welcome bonus requirement in one shot. Strategy 2 is leveraging trusted relationships. Let's say you're going out to dinner with a group of good friends. Offer to put the entire bill on your card. It's a win-win. You get the points and the spending credit, and your friends can just instantly Venmo or Zelle you their share. No hassle. Or if you have a very trusted family member like a parent or a sibling, you can use a similar technique. Maybe their car insurance is due. Offer to pay the $600 premium on your card, and have them pay you back immediately. I have to put a huge warning here. Only, and I mean only, do this with people you trust with your life. You are responsible for that charge, so if they don't pay you back, it's your problem. But used wisely with reliable people, it's an incredibly effective tool. Strategy 3 is prepaying your bills. Most service providers are more than happy to take your money early. Instead of paying your $100 a month car insurance bill 3 times, call them up and pay for the next 6 or 12 months all at once. You can do the same with your cell phone bill, your gym membership, or even your property taxes in some cases. You're not spending more money in the long run. You're just shifting the payment date forward into your 3-month bonus window. And the final strategy, which is a bit of a pro move, is using gift cards. Let's be very clear. I'm not talking about buying a bunch of generic Visa gift cards. Some banks are cracking down on that. I'm talking about buying gift cards for the specific places you know you will be spending money at in the near future. If you're $100 short of your goal and the deadline is next week, go to the grocery store where you shop every week and buy a $100 gift card to that exact store. Or to Amazon. Or Starbucks. Or the gas station you always use. You've effectively pre-spent money that you were guaranteed to spend next month anyway, but you've locked in the credit for your bonus right now. As you're doing all this, you need to track your progress. Don't just spend blindly and hope you hit the target. Most bank apps now have a handy little tracker right on the home screen that will tell you exactly how much more you need to spend and how many days you have left. Check it regularly. This isn't just about hitting the goal. It's about making sure you don't needlessly overspend once you've already hit it. The second you cross that finish line, you can put the card in your sock drawer if you want to. You've won the game. By combining these strategies, funneling your everyday spending, timing your application with big purchases, and prepaying future expenses, that seemingly massive $4,000 requirement becomes completely manageable without changing your lifestyle one bit. You've done it. You've played the game, you've followed the rules, and you've secured the prize. That massive pile of 60, 70, or even 100,000 points is now sitting in your account. But this brings us to the most important question of all. What are these points actually worth? And how do you use them so you're flying to Paris in business class for $11 instead of accidentally trading them in for a toaster worth $50? Because believe me, the banks give you plenty of opportunities to make that exact mistake. Unlocking the true power of your points requires understanding a whole new part of the system. This new part of the system is the dividing line. It's the wall that separates people who get okay value from their credit cards from those who take 5-star vacations for pennies on the dollar. It's the difference between using your hard-earned points on a blender and using them to fly in a private suite with a lie-flat bed to Japan. Both are possible, but the bank is only going to advertise the blender. To understand this, you have to think of the points game as having 2 levels. Level 1 is what the bank wants you to do. It's the easy path, the well-lit, heavily signposted road they lay out for you. This is the bank's own travel portal. Whether it's Chase Ultimate Rewards, amextravel.com, or the Capital One portal, they all function in basically the same way. You log in and it looks just like Expedia or Kayak. You can book flights, hotels, rental cars, and cruises right there, using your points to pay for it. And it's tempting. So simple. You see a flight that costs $300, and the portal says, or pay with 30,000 points. It feels like you're getting a great deal. You're getting something for free. But this is the trick. When you use the portal, the bank has predetermined exactly what your points are worth. In most cases, they're worth a flat 1 cent each. 100 points equals $1. Sometimes, with a premium card like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you might get a little boost, maybe 1.5 cents per point. So that $300 flight might cost you 20,000 points instead of 30,000. Better, right? Well, yes, it's better than a toaster. But it's still level 1. It's the sucker's bet. Because you're still letting the bank dictate the value. You're playing in their sandbox by their rules. And their rules are designed to limit their liability and maximize their profit. The true power, the secret to unlocking insane value, lies in level 2. And level 2 has a name: transfer partners. This is the single most important concept in the entire world of travel rewards. If you understand this, you've understood the whole game. The major bank programs, Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi, they don't just have their own travel portals. They also have partnerships with a curated list of airline and hotel loyalty programs. And they allow you to take the points you earned with the bank and transfer them directly into your account with that airline or hotel. Now, why on earth would you do that? Why add an extra step? Why move your points from the safety of your Chase account to, say, a United Airlines Mileage Plus account? The answer is leverage. You are moving your points from a system where their value is fixed to a system where their value is dynamic and can be exponentially higher. Let's make this real. Imagine you want to fly business class from New York to London. You've saved up 200,000 American Express points. You're excited. You log into the Amex travel portal level 1. You find a nice flight on British Airways. The cash price for the ticket is $4,000. Since you're using the portal, Amex gives you a value of 1 cent per point for that flight. Simple math. A $4,000 flight is going to cost you 400,000 points. You don't even have enough. Your dream is crushed. You figure you'll just save up for another 2 years, or maybe just settle for that blender after all. But wait, you remember level 2. You remember transfer partners. You know that American Express is a transfer partner of British Airways. So instead of using the Amex portal, you go to the British Airways website. You search for the exact same flight, New York to London business class, but this time you click Book with Avios, which is the name for British Airways points. And then you see it. The airline's price for that seat isn't based on the cash cost. It's based on their own award chart. And on their chart, that business class seat costs just 60,000 Avios points plus a few $100s in taxes. Let that sink in. The exact same seat on the exact same plane on the exact same day. Through the bank's portal, it was an impossible 400,000 points. But by transferring your points directly to the airline, it's only 60,000 points. You didn't just save 340,000 points. You made the impossible possible. You took points that Amex valued at 1 cent each, and you redeemed them for a value of almost 7 cents each. That is a 700% increase in the power of your points. That is the whole game. This is not a glitch. It's not a loophole. It is the system working as intended for those who know how to use it. You are performing a kind of travel arbitrage. You are earning points in a flexible currency, and then moving them to the specific program where they have the highest mathematical value for the trip you want to take. This is why we prize cards that earn these flexible transferable points: Chase Ultimate Rewards, Amex Membership Rewards, Capital One Miles, Citi Thank You Points. They are like holding US dollars, which you can exchange for euros or yen or pounds depending on where you're going and where you'll get the best exchange rate. Earning points that are locked into a single airline like a Delta SkyMiles card, is like only holding Thai baht. It's great if you're in Thailand, but not very useful if you want to buy a pretzel in Germany. Flexibility is power. Now there are some critical rules to this transfer game. The most important one is that transfers are a one-way street. Once you move your 60,000 points from American Express to British Airways, they are now British Airways Avios. They live there forever. You can never ever move them back to Amex. This means you don't transfer points speculatively. You find the flight you want to book on the airline's website first, you confirm the availability is there, and only then do you initiate the transfer. The beauty of this system is that it creates a web of possibilities. Chase, for example, is a transfer partner with Hyatt Hotels. Hyatt is famous for having an incredible award chart. You can often find luxury park Hyatt hotels that cost $1,000 a night for just 30,000 or 40,000 points. If you book that same hotel through the Chase portal at 1.5 cents per point, it would cost you over 66,000 points. By transferring, you're cutting the cost almost in half. And it gets even better. You don't even need to fly the airline you're transferring to. The major airlines are grouped into 3 big global alliances: Star Alliance, Oneworld, and SkyTeam. For example, Air Canada is part of Star Alliance. So if you transfer your Chase points to Air Canada's Aeroplan program, you can use those points to book flights not just on Air Canada, but also on their partners like United, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, and Singapore Airlines. One transfer partner can unlock flights on 20 different airlines. It's a master key that opens dozens of doors. This is the engine room of travel rewards. It's how people you see on Instagram are flying in those ridiculous first-class apartments with showers and onboard bars. They're not billionaires. They're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. They are simply masters of this level 2 system. They earn flexible points on their everyday spending, and then they surgically transfer those points to the specific airline partner that offers the best value for these incredible experiences. This is the system that's available to you right now. The barrier to entry isn't money. It's knowledge. It's understanding that the bank's shiny, easy portal is a trap, a low-value siren song. The real treasure is hidden one step deeper, in the slightly more complex but infinitely more rewarding world of transfer partners. So now you get it. You understand the fundamental principle that separates amateurs from pros. Don't use the portal. Use transfer partners. But this, of course, raises the next big, intimidating question. How in the world do you figure all this out? How do you know that for a flight to London, you should transfer your Amex points to British Airways? And for a flight to Tokyo, you should transfer your Chase points to Virgin Atlantic to book a flight on ANA Airlines? How do you find these sweet spots? It can feel like you're searching for a single needle in a stack of 20 other needles. Seems impossibly complicated. And honestly, 10 years ago it was. It required spreadsheets and hours of manual searching. But today it's a different story. Powerful user-friendly tools now exist that do all the heavy lifting for you, turning hours of research into a few simple clicks. Finding the perfect transfer partner is no longer a dark art. It's a process, a simple process that anyone can learn. And that is precisely what we're going to map out next. So let's draw that map. This is the 5-step framework that separates the amateurs from the pros. It's the exact blueprint for turning a pile of abstract points into a tangible, life-changing travel experience. Step 1. Start with the end in mind. This is the single most important rule. You do not transfer points speculatively. You don't just move your Chase points to United because you think you might fly them someday. That's like exchanging all your dollars for Japanese yen before you've even decided if you're going to Tokyo or Toronto. Points are a currency, and you only exchange them when you're ready to spend them. So, your first step is to define your mission. Be specific. It's not, I want to go to Europe. It's, I want to find 2 business class seats from Chicago to Rome next September. It's not, I need a hotel in Hawaii. It's, I want to book 5 nights at the Grand Hyatt Kauai for my anniversary in May. The more specific your goal, the clearer your path becomes. Without a destination, any map is useless. Step 2. Hunt for award availability. This is where the real work begins, but it's also where the magic happens. You have your goal. Now, you need to find the seat or the room that you can actually book with points. The critical thing to understand is that you almost always search for availability on the website of the airline you plan to fly with, not the credit card you have points from. Let's stick with that Chicago to Rome example. You have a stash of American Express membership rewards points. You know from your research that a great way to get to Europe is by transferring points to Air France/KLM's loyalty program, called Flying Blue. So what do? You do not go to the Amex travel portal. You go directly to the Air France or KLM website. You create a free Flying Blue account if you don't have one. This is essential, as many airlines hide their best award availability from people who aren't logged in. Once you're in, you search for your flight. You enter Chicago to Rome, your dates, and this is the crucial click. You check the box that says book with miles or pay with miles. Now, you're not looking at cash prices anymore. You're looking at the award chart. You're looking for what are often called saver awards. These are the lowest priced awards that represent the best value. Airlines will also show you standard, or anytime, awards that cost a ridiculous number of miles. You ignore those. You are a value hunter. You are looking for the saver level ticket. You might have to be flexible with your dates. Maybe flying on a Tuesday is 55,000 miles, but that same flight on a Friday is 150,000. This flexibility is your superpower. You find it. A business class seat on an Air France flight for 55,000 miles plus about $200 in taxes and fees. A flight that would have cost you $5,000 in cash. You found the treasure. But you don't transfer your points yet. That brings us to step 3. Step 3, verify the details and do the math. Before you move a single point, you double-check 3 things. First, the transfer ratio. You log into your American Express account, go to the transfer points section and find Flying Blue. You confirm that the ratio is 1-to-1. 1 Amex point equals 1 Flying Blue mile. Perfect. Second, you look for transfer bonuses. This is the secret weapon. Banks frequently offer bonuses for transferring points to specific partners. Maybe this month, Amex is offering a 25% bonus on all transfers to Flying Blue. Suddenly, that 55,000-mile flight doesn't cost you 55,000 Amex points. It only costs you 44,000 points. You transfer 44,000 points, Amex would kick in an extra 11,000, and 55,000 miles would land in your Flying Blue account. This is how you take a great deal and make it absolutely incredible. Third, you check the transfer time. Most transfers are instant, but some are not. The Amex portal will usually give you an estimate. If it says transfers in 48 hours, that's a risk. In those 48 hours, someone else could book that seat you found. This is a critical piece of information. For our example, let's say the transfer is instant. You found the seat, confirmed the 1-to-1 ratio, discovered a 25% bonus, and verified the transfer is immediate. The runway is clear for takeoff. Step 4. Initiate the one-way transfer. I want you to listen to me very carefully. This is the point of no return. Once you transfer your flexible credit card points, your Chase Ultimate Rewards, your Amex membership rewards, your Capital One miles, to an airline or hotel partner, they are there forever. You can never ever transfer them back. They are no longer Amex points. They are now Flying Blue miles. They are subject to Flying Blue's rules, their expiration policies, and their devaluation whims. This is why we do all the homework in steps 1, 2, and 3. You only click this button when you are 100% ready to book. So, with a deep breath, you're in your Amex portal. You've selected Flying Blue. You've linked your loyalty account by typing in your Flying Blue number. You enter the exact number of points you need, 44,000. You click Submit. You agree to the terms and conditions that remind you this is a final transaction. And you confirm. A moment of digital anxiety and then, success. The points are sent. Step 5, book your award. You immediately log out of your Amex account and log back into your Air France account. You hit refresh. And there they are. Your Flying Blue balance just jumped from 0 to 55,000 miles. Feels like magic every single time. Now you don't wait. You don't go make a sandwich. You immediately run the exact same search you did in step 2. Chicago to Rome, your date, book with miles. You find the same 55,000-mile business class seat. You select it, you go to the checkout page, you pay the taxes and fees with your credit card, and you click purchase. And then the confirmation email hits your inbox. That is the moment. That is the payoff. That feeling of booking a $5,000 flight for what amounts to the points you earned buying groceries and paying your cell phone bill. It never gets old. It's the feeling of beating the system legally. This 5-step process is the core of the entire game. It's the same whether you're using Chase points to transfer to Hyatt for a resort stay, or Capital One miles to transfer to British Airways to book a short-haul American Airlines flight. The steps are always the same. Define the goal. Hunt for availability on the partner website. Verify the ratios and bonuses. Make the irreversible transfer. And book it immediately. It might seem intimidating at first, but it's just a process. It's a recipe. And once you bake this cake once, the second time is infinitely easier. You start to learn the sweet spots. You learn which airlines have the best websites for searching, which partners offer the best value to certain regions, and you start to see the matrix. You realize that your chase points aren't just chase points. They're potential flights on United, Southwest, Air France, Emirates, Singapore Airlines. They're potential nights at any Hyatt in the world. They are a key that unlocks a global network of travel possibilities. But with great power comes great responsibility. This system is incredibly rewarding, but it's also filled with hidden traps and rookie mistakes that can cost you thousands of points, or worse, ruin a vacation. People make these mistakes all the time. They transfer points before finding a flight. They book a complex itinerary and miss a crucial rule. They let a transfer bonus blind them to a bad deal. These are the landmines we need to help you sidestep. And avoiding those common pitfalls is the final crucial piece of this puzzle. So let's defuse them one by one. Welcome to the masterclass. This is where you graduate from a beginner to a strategist. We'll call these the 7 deadly sins of travel rewards. Avoid these and you'll be in the top 1% of all travelers using points and miles. The first and most common sin is what I call the valuation trap. This is where you get obsessed with the cents per point calculation. You read blogs telling you that you should never redeem a point for less than 2 cents. So you find a flight, a business class seat to Asia that would normally cost $10,000, and you can get it for 100,000 points. That's a 10-cent per point redemption. Incredible. The problem? The flight has 2 layovers, leaves at 3 a.m., and lands in a city you weren't even that interested in visiting. Meanwhile, a simple, direct economy flight to see your family for the holidays, a flight you actually need, costs $400 or 40,000 points. That's a terrible 1 cent per point value. So you pay the $400 in cash to save your valuable points for that fantasy trip. You just fell into the trap. The best value is not a number on a spreadsheet. The best value is a trip you actually want to take, that you might not have taken otherwise. A point's only true value is in the experience it unlocks for you. Don't let a theoretical number stop you from creating a real memory. The second sin is transfer bonus blindness. This one is seductive. You log into your Chase or Amex account and see it. A 30% bonus when you transfer points to British Airways. Your 100,000 points could become 130,000 Avios. Your heart races. You imagine all the places you could go. Without a second thought, you transfer every single point you have. Feels like you just won the lottery. A week later, you go to book that flight you were dreaming of, and there's no availability. Not for your dates. Not for the month you want to travel. Not for the next 6 months. And here's the brutal truth. Point transfers are a one-way street. You can never ever transfer them back. Your points are now stuck in the British Airways program where they might be less useful for you, and where they are subject to that airline-specific rules and devaluations. The rule is simple. Never transfer a single point until you have found the specific flight you want to book, and have confirmed that award seats are available. Find the flight first, then transfer the points. Sin number 3. The hoarding dragon. This person is the opposite of the impulsive transfer. They are patient. They are diligent. They collect points like a dragon hoarding gold. They have 500,000, 800,000, a million points sitting in their account. They're waiting for the perfect redemption. The round-the-world first-class trip for 2 that will be the story they tell for the rest of their lives. But perfect never comes. They look at options, but they're too scared to pull the trigger. What if a better deal comes along tomorrow? What if they waste their points on a trip that's merely great instead of legendary? And while they wait, something sinister is happening in the background. Every year, almost without fail, airlines devalue their points. That flight that cost 80,000 miles last year now costs 95,000 miles. The hotel that was 50,000 points a night is now 60,000. Their giant pile of gold is slowly, silently turning to lead. Points and miles are a depreciating asset. They are like a currency with a guaranteed high rate of inflation. The mantra in this game is earn and burn. Don't be a dragon. Be a traveler. The fourth sin is annual fee phobia. The email arrives. Your annual fee of $95 will be charged on your next statement. The immediate reaction for most people is panic. I'm not paying to have a credit card. So they call the bank and cancel the card. This is often a massive mistake. You have to look at an annual fee not as a cost but as an investment. Does the value you get back exceed what you pay? Take a card with a $250 annual fee. Sounds high, but what if it gives you a $300 annual travel credit? You're already making $50. What if it also gives you a free hotel night certificate at a hotel that would have cost you $200? Now you're up $250. What if it gives you airport lounge access, saving you $50 on food and drinks every time you fly? The math almost always works out in your favor if you actually use the benefits. Before you cancel a card, do a 1-year audit. Add up the real dollar value of every single credit and perk you used. If it's more than the annual fee, keeping the card is one of the most profitable and simple decisions you can make. Sin number 5. The overly complicated itinerary. The beginner, fresh off watching a few videos, decides their first ever points redemption will be an epic, multi-continent journey. They want to fly from New York to Paris on Air France, then take a separate flight to Rome on ITA Airways, then fly from Rome to Tokyo on Singapore Airlines, all using points from a single program. They spend weeks trying to decipher partner airline award charts, routing rules, and stopover policies. They get frustrated, confused, and eventually they give up, convinced this whole thing is a scam. You have to walk before you can run. Your first redemption shouldn't be a masterpiece of travel hacking. It should be a win. Book a simple round-trip domestic flight. See how it feels to get something for free. Then, book a simple round-trip international flight on a single airline. Build your confidence. Master the basics. The complex, incredible trips will come later, but you earn the right to book them by first succeeding at the simple stuff. This leads to sin number 6. The last-minute panic. Life gets busy. You know you want to go to Hawaii for Christmas, but you put off booking. Summer turns to fall. Suddenly it's November, and you decide it's time to use those 200,000 points you've saved. You search for flights and you find nothing. Zero. Every single seat that was available for points has been snatched up. This is the hard reality of award travel. It operates on supply and demand. For the most popular destinations during the most popular times, think Europe in the summer, the Caribbean during spring break, or anywhere during the holidays, award seats are the first to go. You are competing with millions of other people for a very small number of free seats. The pros book these trips 9 to 11 months in advance, often the very day the booking window opens. If you can't book that far ahead, your only other option is to be incredibly flexible. Can you go to Hawaii in October instead of December? Can you fly on a Tuesday instead of a Friday? If you wait until the last minute for a popular trip, you will be disappointed. And the final 7th sin, the lone wolf mentality. Thinking you have to figure all of this out by yourself. You don't. The rules of this game are constantly changing. Airlines change partners. Credit cards change benefits. New sweet spots emerge while old ones disappear. Trying to keep up with it all alone is a recipe for burnout. But there are incredible resources out there. There are blogs dedicated to daily news, communities on Reddit where people share their successes and failures, and tools that can search for award availability across multiple airlines at once. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to know where the instruction manual is. Leverage the work and knowledge of the community. Stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before you. It will accelerate your learning curve tenfold and save you from making mistakes that others have already paid the price for. And with that, you have the complete blueprint. We started with the basic question, what even is a travel credit card? We walked through the different kinds of points, how to choose your first card, and the critical importance of the sign-up bonus. We showed you how to meet a minimum spend responsibly, the magic of transferring points, and how to find and book that first incredible trip. And now you know the traps to avoid. This journey, this entire series wasn't just about credit cards. It was never about the plastic in your wallet. It's about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about seeing your everyday expenses, your groceries, your gas, your bills, not as a drain on your resources, but as an investment in your future experiences. It's a tool, a skill, a system that, once you learn it, can continue to pay you dividends in the form of sunrises over new cities, meals you'll never forget, and time spent with the people you love in places you've only dreamed of. Your journey doesn't start when you board the plane. It starts right now. It starts with the decision to take this knowledge and apply it. It starts with your first card application, your first sign-up bonus, your first award search. It will take a little bit of effort, a little bit of learning, but everything worthwhile does. The world is a very big, very beautiful place. This is your key to unlocking it. So go on. The world is waiting.